No, sorry Jenkins, I ain't got time. Got to get Pinchy ready for Goodwood. Now, where did I put your shell oil? Hello, welcome to Tweed's Garage. In this video, we're continuing with the Arrow. Yes, there will be more Scott. Scott stuff is in the can, as they say, so bear with. But yeah, as we had the Arrow engine up on the vise with the plates I made in the last video, yeah, if you haven't seen that, go and have a look. Yeah, we started to take it apart and then found that we needed special tools to go any further. So, been busy in the workshop making special tools and stuff like that. And yeah, so we've sort of been tearing into the Arrow engine. And let's go on a journey and see what horrors we can find. All right, this way. So I decided to have a little bit of an explorative look around the Arrow engine just to see what we were dealing with, and then because it was sort of a bit tight, well, it was seized when I got it, I decided we need to put new main bearings on it. So we've got to split the crank to get it out and check the bearings, and as you saw on a previous video, the crank seals on the offside were, yeah, totally ripped apart, so they need replacing. So I'm going to check this side as well. I did attempt to start taking the crank apart. You need to do this with a special tool, but I decided to make a special tool. So, went through the scrap bin, found a few pieces that might do the job, and then on the original tool, it's a solid bit of bar, but I think a bit of tubing will be strong enough to hold it. So pop that in the lathe. Turn that down to size so it would slip through the balancing holes in the crank webs, so that goes through all right. And the next thing was to turn up the jig plate. So got this piece of steel that's been flame cut, I think, so it's a bit hard on the outside. So pop that in the lathe. First thing to do was face it off. We've got a nice clean flat face, and then with that done, drilled a hole through the centre of it and then bored that so it was nice and square. So then what I could do was turn up a piece of aluminium, tap a hole in it, and put that in the 3-jaw chuck, and then I could bolt the plate, turn the plate round, bolt it onto the mandrel, and turn the other side. So with that done and mounted in, it allowed me to turn the other face of the plate, then turn the shoulder so it fitted inside the crankcase, a nice snug fit. And with that done, then I went sort of gently on the outside edge, turned the outside edge down. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't as hard as the initial facing I'd done, so the initial facing must have been the sort of hotter part of the steel when it was flame cut. But yeah, no, that turned out nicely, and it turned out to be, yeah, it's quite a nice piece of steel, come out quite nicely. So with it all faced off, turned down the shoulder, next thing I need to do is pop it in the mill, work out the location of the hole in the crank webs, position of that, and with that worked out, the plate was secured in the vise on the mill, and then run a centre drill through it and a slightly bigger drill, and then one of my bigger drills just below an inch, about 24.3, something like that. Yeah, just pop that through. That went quite nicely because I've managed to pick up a R8 to Morse Taper 3 adapter, so that allows me to use all those Morse 3 taper drills that I picked up, that I can only use on the lathe at the moment because they fit the tailstock, but they now fit in the mill. And yeah, that drilled a beautiful hole, went through really clean, and with that hole punched through, and it was just a case of going through with the boring head and just bore that hole out to final size. And that was a new little indexable boring head I got from Warco, no affiliation, but yeah, no, it worked really nicely. So with that done, popped it on to see how it fitted nicely, all lined up. Then I had to work out a way of, because the plate wasn't big enough to reach the screw holes to clamp the plate up, I then milled up a couple of bits of rectangular bar stock, drilled clearance holes to go over the studs, and then milled a little shoulder into the back of them so that they would sit on the plate, and the faces of them around the bored hole would rest against the crankcase of the engine. And then that allowed me to secure the plate to the crankcases. Now I just had to work out the position. I don't know whether it's critical, doesn't really say it is in the manual, but it, you know, the original tool that you use has got top marked on it, and seems to be bolted in at a certain position when the crank is at top dead centre, the offside crank is at top dead centre. So I clocked the crank in so it was sitting at top dead centre, and then lined up the securing rod through the plate onto the crankcases, and it was just a case of tightening down the little blocks that I'd made, and then just welded them into position. Just tacked them on, then took the plate off and then finished welding them, and that worked really well. So yeah, popped that on, got in there with my 3/8 Allen key and started to lean on it, and yes, yeah, it didn't move. So then I had to sort of slide a socket over it to make it a little bit bigger, and then another bit of pipe over that, and that wasn't enough. Oh, it was. I sort of managed to shock it and start loosening it, but with this crank, what happens is you undo the centre bolt, and it comes apart so far loose, and then it starts tightening up again, because it then is designed to break the taper on the cranks. But as you can see, it started tightening up again, and I'm sure the crank shifted over slightly in the near side crankcase, and I think it was pushing on the outer case. So I stopped and then sort of tweaked it back in a little bit, so I got movement back in the crankshaft, and stopped there. I thought I could just get away with undoing one side, but I don't think that's the case. So that's where you find us now. We're going into the near side. So I've removed the points. It was just two screws, remove the cover, and then 2 screws, and withdraw the points plate off of the end of the shaft. And then I'm going to go ahead, drain the oil if there's any in it, and remove this cover, and work my way in so I can get this near side crankcase end plate off. So hopefully that will stop the restriction movement on the crankcase, and hopefully split the crankcase. So that's where you find us. Drain screw there, drain it. See if it's got any oil in it, of course. a little bit. He's using an adjuster again, my Super King Dick. You can get these, yeah, good thing about these is people say you shouldn't, but you can get these on really tight and they don't loosen like the modern ones. Bloody brilliant, as I've said many times before. I'll just take that out just in case it's that airtight, but I shouldn't imagine it is. Chain looks okay. Well, I know it's got a tensioner on it, but it's not, you know, a nice bit of bounce to it. It's not bantam slack. Right, start doing these. Just loosen off, and then I've got to undo the tension on here. So we'll just loosen these off. Got a mixture here of Phillips and slotted. There we go. Nice and loose. I've pulled my little swarf tray out under my vise, put a pig mat on there, so when we split that, hopefully we'll contain what oil's left in there. This is the points cam. I think this has got to come off as well. Oh, it comes undone. Oh, it's pretty loose. Is it on a taper? I think it is. That needs knocking down out of the way. Yeah, it's come down nicely. Take the end of that shaft. One feels bearing fit like we used on reassembly because it's been waggling around. It's made a right old mess of that. I'll show you later, not now though. Right, let's see if we can get this out without blocking you out of the way. First remove the screw, remove screw and plug. Turn in a sleeve. Now, I don't know what the plug is. Oh, that's the plug. Must be a sleeve behind that. Let's have a look. Yep, there's a plastic sleeve behind there, which miraculously is turning. The chain going slack. Yep, chain's going slack. Well, it doesn't come out, so I don't know how far you're meant to do it. I should read the manual really, but it's got quite a lot of words. I think that's slack enough. We can always slacken it off a bit more. I suspect these are all different lengths as well. Like the bantam, yeah, long ones, short ones, but I think they are, yeah, I think there's only two. No, how many lengths we got? Yeah, all different lengths. Oh, there's two the same, three the same. That is it, all out. Give it a wiggle. Oh, it's a nice snug fit. Not the usual primary chain case, just falls off. Okay, read the manual, and there's a sort of a nylon adjuster in here, and I thought it screwed all the way out, but it only turned so far and then just spun around. You couldn't get it any further, so I put this Phillips screw back in. I managed to do it up so it tightened up on the outer nylon adjuster, and then it wouldn't screw out any further. So what I've discovered is with that screw in there, I can lever out. I can now lever out the adjuster out the rest of the way. Oh look, even got an O-ring on it. There you go. So I don't know how that. Not sure what that screws in and out of. It must just sort of sit on the adjuster on the inside, and just a twiddle stick really. Yeah, but it stops it from coming off. Right, let's see if it comes off now. Okay, let's try again. Oh, easy as that. And there we go. One quiche tin. Quiche Lorraine, anybody? Oh yeah, somebody's been in here before. And that is the trouble with old motorbikes. Somebody's always been in there before you. Right, well, you normally put a strap wrench round here, but because I've got that jig on the other side that's holding the crank still anyway, so I think we can just find a socket for that and get that bugger off. There's meant to be 2 tapped holes in here somewhere. Well, according to the manual, maybe they've done away with that later. So I need to get that off. Unfortunately, I think I need to take this off. Then we need a tool for that. Get the nut undone on there. I don't think there's any split link on the chain, which is unfortunate. I don't think there's enough space to jig that out without taking the clutch off. We shall see. Oh yeah, got orange gaskets in it. I think, to be fair, that's on the cover. Yeah, it's all here, look. Lovely, horrible stuff. Right, okay, see if we've got a socket that big. Okay, we've got a socket that fits 36. It's a little bit touch oversized, but all the corners are rounded off, so it's difficult to judge, so we'll lean on it, give it a... There we go. Said it before, say it again. Get yourself one of these. Yeah, they didn't knock the tab washer over last time. Then next, I need a puller to get in there. Could put it on the outside. These are from the cases, but I think they're a different... I'll have to try a tap in there, see what size they are. I'll have to make some more puller studs up. Okay, I'll get back to you. Okay, let's see if this comes off. Got a puller on it, put aluminium just to protect the end of the crankshaft. Ah, there we go. That was easy. It's easy when you've got the right tools. Well, I don't think we have. I tried all my taps down there, trying to find what thread it was, and couldn't find it. These 6mm ones went down there quite nicely. But the trouble is, the threads are really deep, so you can't really see what's going on. So now that's off, I'll be able to check and use the right size ones next time. Okay, well, onwards and upwards. Looks like we've got to get the clutch out. So there we go, the inside of an Ariel arrow stroke leader. But yeah, there's no split link on the chain, so it's got to come off. Flywheel's got to come off with the clutch assembly removed as well. Okay, I've marked on there the depth of the stud in there, sort of averaged out between the 3 of them, so I know where to set them if they don't have a stop. Yeah, I think they go on to a stop. So move those. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's got a roll of bearings that aren't caged, so when you undo those it sort of goes a bit slack and wobbles around a bit. I don't think there's any up and down movement, it's just side to side, so that's okay. Could be stuck. Yeah, just stuck. There we go. There we go. clutch plates. How they look, can you see? Yeah. Bit of life left in them. Oh yeah, somebody's been in here. I thought they'd broken it, but I think that, oh, I don't know. Is that a rough cast? They've broken the casting? It's been broken a long time. Can't imagine them putting that on in the factory with a hole like that. Anyway, I don't think it affects the operation of it too much. Yeah, so I need to undo this so it revolving now. The manual shows a sort of tool. You've seen them very similar. They, you know, or you can use an old clutch plate. They say use an old clutch plate, but the trouble is you never have an old clutch plate to hold it with. So I think I might need to make another tool just to hold this. But what I'll do is probably something that sort of goes in these 3 holes with a handle on to hold it in place. I think that's why this might have got, I don't know whether that's just a poor casting or been broken out. It's hard to say, but I don't know, can you imagine somebody sticking, well, yeah, maybe. But it was done a long time ago. If it's if it was broken, once we get it out, we'll have a look. So yeah, I think that's as far as we're going to get at the moment. So unfortunately Jenkins didn't hit record, so we missed the disassembly of the clutch and primary chain and all that coming off. But yeah, this was the finished tool to hold the clutch, and that worked really well. Goes in there like that, and then you can get a socket on there and undo that, no trouble at all holding that. So yeah, there's a bit of that damage close up. Yeah, I'm really not sure, it just looks like no, I don't know, it's hard to say. It looks like the casting, and that's just the way it was and bunged in. Who knows? Yeah, wouldn't surprise me, you know, because there looks like casting rather than a break, you know. Anyway, moving on. So that was the crankshaft holding tool finished off. That worked really well, and that was the pin to go through the balance holes on the crankshaft webs. Yeah, and then just some turn down engine studs, turned down to I think 1/4 Whitworth, to pull the outer crank housings off. Yeah, and they come off okay. Condition of these, yeah, bearings are rusty, so need new bearings definitely. Centre bearing was okay, but I think there was a bit of slop in it, so yeah, they're available, so we'll put new bearings in as we got it apart. And then we have the crank assemblies there, and you can see how they go together. There's a taper on this one that pulls into that, and there's a little keyway as well to locate it, but you know, I've only just noticed that that's all bloody mullered as well. Yeah, so we have to be careful when reassembling that. Yeah, it's all rough around there. I think that must have spun, but it looks like, I get the feeling that there was a bit of a catastrophe in the engine, and this crank side's been replaced, because you've got what they call like a blade conrod on this side. See, it's got like a knife edge on it. Yeah, sort of ground on, but I think, although it's a different part number, I think it's just a standard one with you know, that web ground off there, because when you look at them, both sort of similar side profile. You know, you look at the top and the bottom. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so that's a bit rough. Yeah, this at the end. This has been welt at the end. This is what the timing cam goes on to, and that pen was bent outwards. Managed to push that in a little bit. Somebody's had pliers on there. Luckily the bearing sits on there, so that's not too much of an issue, and I think the seal sits on there, so that's not too desperate. Yeah, this side, yeah, not as bad. It's a bit tight on there, whether that was me causing it to squeeze up a little bit, but I don't think so. It's always difficult to push over in the engine even when it's freed up, so I think it's the resistance of this. And then we've got this really weird collar that goes on here for the seal to run on. And like I was saying, you've got, you know, another surface for crankcase gases to possibly leak out of that doesn't have a seal on it. You know, the seal goes on this outer edge, and that is, yeah, you know, that's rough as well. It's sort of beaten round the edge. You know, there we go. That's you know, people only had the weekend to get them fixed and get them running again for work on a Monday, so yeah, they just had to do what they had to do. Yeah, so that all needs checking over, sorting out, and a solution finding for that. Oh yeah, crankcases tell a story. This side, obviously, yeah, I think this is probably the original one. This is a replacement. This side, the bearings had worn so much, big end bearings had worn so much that the conrod was on the bottom of the stroke was hitting the bottom of the crankcase. You've got a nice ploughed furrow there which sort of matches the outside webs on the conrod there. So yeah, there you go, carnage and damage. Never mind. So there you go, ready for good work. Oh yeah, there you go. So hope you enjoyed it. Bit more work on the Ariel. Yeah, wanted to sort of get it torn down and to see what we're dealing with. Yeah, and as we discovered, somebody else or multiple people have been in there with varying levels of mechanical aptitude and size of wallet sort of thing. So yeah, got to do a bit of research, you know, on parts and bearings and seals and that kind of thing, and conrods, because we've got the mix set there. You know, do we try and find another one of one side, you know, to sort of get a matching set? Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, that'll be put aside for a little while. I'm getting organised. I've ordered lots of little bags, little seal bags to put nuts and bolts in and label them. Try and be a bit more organised. Well, try and start putting stuff back together might be easier. But yeah, anyway, there we go. That's the Arrow. There'll be some more Scott coming up soon for those waiting for the Scott. Yeah, and other bits and bobs. What else did we do? Oh, we went to Bewley. I'll show you a little bit of that running around. I'll leave it for a few weeks because everybody's putting their Bewley videos out. So yeah, give it a chance to go over and then come back and revisit it. So yeah, as I said, me and Pinchy are off to Goodwood. If you see this in a year's time, it'll be no good to you. But if you're going down there this weekend, it's year 2025, September, what was it, 14th, 15th, something like that. Yeah, I'll be down there helping Captain Fawcett down on his stand, dancing for pennies. Yeah, Pinchy will be down there as well. So if you pop along to the stand, yeah, come and introduce yourself and I'll try and take some stickers down there. Yeah, so there you go. Hope you liked the video. Have I said this already? I don't know. Hope you liked the video. If you did, give us a little like and hit subscribe and the bell icon and all that, blah de blah. And yeah, thanks for coming along. See you next time. Right, cheerio. Right, come on in, Pinchy, to Goodwood. I didn't put any more oil on you. I'm getting organised. I've ordered. No, sorry, Jenkins, I ain't got time. Got to get. Oh, it's got all tangled. Get your things out.